want to know something? I have never heard a crossword about Mean Gene Okerlund. I've never heard anyone have anything bad to say about him, and you get the impression just because he was a good guy. And that's going along with the fact that he's one of the best, interviewers in wrestling history. Well, he is the best interviewer in wrestling history. One of the best ring announcers. One of the best commentators, even though he rarely did that. Mean Gene is just a legend. From Mattel's WWE Retro line, trying to recreate the magic of the WWF Hasbro line of the 80s and 90s, this is a Mean Gene Okerlund. And yeah, I really like him. There was a 4-pack that was released where it was him, Roddy Piper, Mr. T, and the Iron Sheik. The only other one I want is Mr. T, or Iron Sheik rather, because I don't really care about having non-wrestler figures like Mr. T, and I don't need another Roddy Piper. But I like the Iron Sheik, but this is the one I had to track down because it's Mean Gene. Taking a closer look, and we're going to come back to it. The head sculpt gives me a little bit of problem, but like I said, that's going to be a bigger talking point. I love the overall body, though. The proportions are perfect for a Hasbro. I love the suits, the little WWF logo. You do have articulation down here at the waist, which is great. And of course, for anyone curious, when you watch WrestleManias and pay-per-views, he did wear the tuxedo, but if you were just watching, Saturday night's main event, like the normal WWF TV, this is the suit he would always wear, so I'm glad they gave him this as opposed to the tux. Also, for a first in any Hasbro series, we have a microphone, which, of course, give that to Mean Gene. That's the perfect prop for him, but also that opens the door for a lot of your other figures to be able to have the microphone. And I do want to point this out, he does just have the gorilla press action, but because he has the microphone, you could just have him drop elbows, which is great. So I mentioned I had an issue with the head sculpt. It's not a bad head sculpt, it's just, it doesn't feel like a Hasbro head sculpt. Now let me pull this guy in, right? So this isn't the most modern Mean Gene we've had, this is from the Walmart line, but when you look at him, right? You look at this head sculpt, that's not super far apart. You could put this head on this body and it would still work, making me think that the Hasbro is just a bit too realistic, which I'm not really for. You get Mean Gene alongside one of his most frequent interviewees, that being the original Hulk Hogan, well, second version of Hulk Hogan from the Hasbro line, and you can see more what I mean. You see this cartoonish, just otherworldly sculpt for Hogan that still gets his personality across. Mean Gene looks too normal to really mesh in my head. To be fair, this is kind of a line-wide issue with the retros, but figures like Jimmy Hart prove that they can do a more cartoonish sculpt which is more in line with the original series, leaving Mean Gene just a little disappointing.